Good evening from the UK and welcome to Inception podcast. This evening's guest is from the UK again. Yes, no time zones, no 5 hours, 6 hours in the middle of the night or early hours of the morning for either of us. So before I introduce my guest, just to let you know, Inception podcast, please like and share on our Facebook page. It isn't about me, it's about the guests that come on and share their knowledge, their wisdom, and their journeys. You can also find Inception Podcast on the Forbidden Knowledge News Network, where you will find amazing, amazing podcasts, amazing creators giving you diverse information, and there's really something for everybody. So check out Forbidden Knowledge News Network. On that note, I have Michael this evening to come with me through the 8 doors of consciousness and down the rabbit hole. Are you ready, Michael?
Let's go. The door's opening.
Are you ready? Are you ready? So, Michael, we're going to go through the first door and we're going to parachute down. We'll just go down gently, okay, for the first door. From your truth or your knowing at this time, what is this human experience? I use many terminologies, as you know, to try and express the unexpressible. However, we're trying to communicate. So we're not talking about our identity. You know, we're both crazy people that worked in crime at some point in their life. We weren't the criminals, though. No. However, it's the inward. So what is this human experience that you're going through?
There's many different trials of force, and there's many different facets to what is the human experience. The human experience is the fall. Now, the fall for me is when you go from a celestial place to a terrestrial place. Mm-hmm. Now, with that, most often comes the mind in flesh, which is largely ignorance of anything else that exists. Mm-hmm. So we come from a grand place. We come to this place. We come through the sacred gateway, which is the womb, which is the Holy Grail. Mm-hmm. And we experience in a sensory way what we originally were, but from a different perspective. So what we originally were was the original supreme creative mind, mathematical mind, that has fragmented into trillions of fragments in order for it to experience itself, to feed back to itself, to relay back to itself. And we are all aerial relay systems of data. Wow. And our experience, the things that we experience in life, the way in which we see things, the way in which we perceive things, the way in which some people see things as just a one sphere of existence, which is the earth plane. There are, of course, those who have the higher facts, and there are those who see and are fortunate enough to see that there are many other aspects beyond the earth realm. So in essence, we are an experience of an original supreme creative mind that has to fragment in order to relay back. And should we say, you can't be perfect without balance, and you can't have balance without duality. So this really is an experience for the creator, but also for us to experience what we've created.
Wow, I love that. Wow, I resonate with that. I just say it totally differently. In other words, the only one I wouldn't use, it's not that it's right or wrong, but coming from my truth, is the fall. Because the fall infers the scripture, like bad, falling down, say. But I totally understand, because you put it into total context, and you changed the definition of fall with the subsequent narrative, and it was beautiful how you expressed it. And you said it elegantly and beautifully. I just say I'm consciousness, God, having a human experience, and I'm in self-realization. I loved that. That was absolutely. Now, who would have thought? I mean, this is what the show's about, guys. That when you're out in the street and you see someone and you think they're being an arsehole, and you say, well, they'll never wake up. You have no idea what is contained in every single Homo sapiens sapien. I mean, come on, Michael, looking at you, ex-copper, yeah, totally crazy like me. Who would have thought that such beauty could be expressed from a being? And I think that was just wonderful. Thank you so much indeed. Right.
Well, the device that we have can either express the divine, can be a gateway for divine knowledge, or it can be used to destroy.
Yeah,
and that really is the use of the fifth chakra, which is the Adam's apple, which is the fall.
Yeah. Don't forget, you fell, not me. I don't have one, darling. Okay, only the Homo sapiens sapien males fell. We floated. We were angels. I digress, but no, I hear you. No, okay. We're at the bottom of the. I've got brain fog. It's just something's happened. That's all. There's energy around me. Right. We're at the bottom of the rabbit hole. It's going to make me laugh now. I'm sitting down. I've made my coffee and in fact, I may have a little drink because after the first door, God knows what you're going to come out for the second door. We're going through the second door. We're tunneling in, down and down and down the rabbit hole, getting curiouser and curiouser. Well, I will ask you the question. On the back of what you've just stated beautifully, so who are you then? Who am I? Who am I? You did touch upon it, but I would like you to expand on the God self to whatever degree, even though it's an unmentionable, unspeakable. But so this being that has come down to realize itself, to feed back to itself, who am I? Who is it?
When water goes back into the ocean, and it loses its identity and becomes one again. When we realize who we truly are and we lose the ego self, and we don't necessarily have to identify with names, then we will return to the divinable, which is the ocean in terms of the river. So what am I? What am you? I am a fragment, a cell, an atom, a subatomic particle of the creator.
Wow.
And when you realize, when you conquer the five senses, nothing troubles you, nothing disturbs you, nothing is an inconvenience to you. You see it for what it is. And when you return back, when you become the water, the stream that returns back to the ocean, that is when you realize, your egotistical identity is gone, and you've returned back to the sea of knowledge, to the sea of divinity. And that's what I am. I am a water molecule of the sea of divinity.
Oh, we could say you are divine. You are it. You are source. You are God. Yes. As is everybody else on this planet or in the whole of the universe. It's really, years ago, I remember, hearing people say that, especially coming from the verdict and things like that. And even when I heard the man Jesus, well, I didn't hear him actually, when I read. And I thought, oh my God, that's so blasphemous. And, because of the conditioning or whatever. And it has taken me quite a few decades. And I really don't have any issue to say, well, I am God, I am it. Because I don't say it from an identity perspective, but in the recognition that I am God, if we want to label it, you are God too. So is every other arsehole going about. They're just unaware of it. So But now people are becoming more and more, I don't know, they're dropping their fears of making such profound statements as you've made. I don't have an issue saying, like that. It's not.
And of course, everything you realize when you get to a certain perspective, certain viewpoint, that dirt, stones, and gold are the same thing.
Yeah.
And nothing, I'm a reflection of you, you're a reflection of me.
Yeah.
I'm a reflection of everything. And when I say I just saw a mountain, well, that mountain is the same awareness. So therefore I am the mountain is me. Yeah. There is no separation. It is only the illusion of separation. We've separated ourselves by the very, very limited viewpoint that we have of reality.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I knew it'd be good. Right, I'm going to hit the vodka now. That's it, because it's going to go wild. We're going to go through door number 3. So we're way underground, going through the rabbit hole, and it's getting weirder and weirder and weirder. You have touched upon in door number 1 this question. However, to expand upon it again. So you, this God, why are you here? In this 3D polarity, why are you here? Why am I here? It does seem still weird to say you God or I'm God, why am I here? But why are you here?
Well, I'm not only here, but I'm in other places as well. So this is one shelf of a large cabinet in which we are able to interact. And in order to experience everything there is, then you've had to experience everything there is. Yeah. And the third dimension of the so-called physical realm is really a part of the experience. And if you imagine that this is really a university in which we can spiritually mature, we can use the resistance, we can use the platform that is planet Earth, which is really a school of initiation if you wish to take if you wish to go down there, if you wish to go down that path, it is the road to Damascus, which is either the left-hand path or the right-hand path. You either go mind of the flesh, which is death, or spiritual mind, which is life. And we have those choices by being in a realm where we have some kind of resistance. If you look at every single human being, we have the same anatomy, we have the same muscle base, and yet you see a bodybuilder who spends most of his day at the gym or her at the gym, and they amplify, intensify their muscle base till it becomes manifest and obvious. But they still have the same muscle base as everyone else. So, but what they need in order to have that muscle definition is a resistance, and that resistance is the weight of their gymnasium.
Wonderful analogy.
So when we have such resistance against, if man was never chased, he would never need to learn to run.
Yeah.
And we have the opportunity now to rebound off the resistance.
Yeah.
When I spoke about the fall in the first question, I meant the fall in terms of coming from a celestial place to a terrestrial place, coming from a place of spirit to a place of physicality.
Yeah.
And we have the chance, however, to return. It is that's why we have baptism in churches, in a font that is the octagram, the number 8, which is relevant to this evening. We have the number 8, which is number 1 at a higher octave at the next circle. We have the gateway out of samsara, which is the birth, death, rebirth cycle, by the number 8. So we have the opportunity to return to rebirth, to return to the womb, which is galactic consciousness. Now, when you return to galactic consciousness, which is really the first level of manifestation of womb consciousness, galactic consciousness, is the 9th dimension, which is why we have 9 pyramids. And the Sphinx represents the galactic womb, the galactic consciousness of the womb. And when we will return to galactic consciousness, then we are reborn. But we have the opportunity to do that because of the conditions that we are in.
And the conditions are the resistance. Oh, it's a beautiful analogy there. Please excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. you know, and I say about current times and you know, what's been going on in the other timeline, see it, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That resistance, you'll see, do not resist it, but watch what it is. That is pushing you, like you were saying about, you know, the muscle man, you know, the resistance he needs to grow, to build, to become more powerful. And I say, obviously you say it better than me. I don't think I'll ever have you back on the show again. You're too good. No, I'm joking. It was beautiful. It was the way that you gave that analogy. And more likely I'm going to plagiarize that and steal that from you and use it down the line on a podcast, and I'll look good. But it's a really, the clarity in that was just that. It was like looking through clear water when you expressed that. Absolutely, I resonate with that. That's beautiful. I mean, wow, we're going to go to door number 4. Now, door number 4 is halfway through the 8 doors. And door number 4, we're camping out night. Now, we're there for the night. I've got my bed. You can have your camp bed over there. And I got a feeling that what you're going to come out with this one, I need more alcohol, you know, just to settle me down and not get, oh my God. On that, on the back of that, I would like you to be descriptive as much as you can in answering this question. So when I say on the back of all that we've spoken about, what is this reality? Okay. Now, many say it's a simulation, or all of the above is correct, or a matrix. I have my own analogies. It's an illusion. It's a film, and I'm in the film, and I'm playing the part. I'm playing the parts. I wrote the script, you know, but I'm also observing it at the same time. Or I say, on another occasion, I'm in a dream state. It's an illusion. It's a dream. And I'm awakening lucidly within the dream. So, but however, there's an extended part to that. Obviously, you know, with quantum physics, and which does actually, for my truth, that's just my truth, it really, I don't need validation because it's a knowing, but it actually exemplifies the theory that we're talking about. I consciousness here, experiencing all things at all times. However, to do this experience, to come into this place, to have the resistance, we need some sort of structure. You know, ninja's web, or, you know, I don't know, it's, you know, whatever you want to call it. On the back of that, from your description, what is this reality, this duality that we're living in? What's it made of?
When we spend our lives asleep,
yeah,
did I have the dream, or did the dream have me?
Yeah.
Which one is the dream? Which one is real? Mm-hmm. And this reality, you have to understand the depths of the subconscious mind, which is the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So you have the Father, the Son, the superconscious mind, the conscious mind, and the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind works beyond the awareness of the conscious, so it is the unconscious. And the majority of things that happen, the majority of thoughts that we have, the majority of things that come into our conscious awareness comes from the subconscious mind, which is the fertile field. Mm-hmm. And depending upon what is planted in that fertile field, depends upon what reality we see. So the word becomes flesh. So in other words, what you think, what you say becomes reality.
Yeah.
So when you look at the way in which the subconscious understands, it is a symbolic understanding. So the subconscious deals symbolically. Now, there's no surprise that when you look at the ancient world and the hieroglyphs and the Nazca lines and crop circles, it is symbolic messages that have a deeper spiritual meaning. Now, symbology is the language of the masters. This is a higher spiritual language for the advanced student to understand. Now, our subconscious mind sees the energy and sees the intent of these sacred geometric symbols. Mm-hmm. And because we all see the same sacred geometric symbols day in and day out on logos, automobiles, brand names, TV shows, our subconscious minds develop a network of an accepted reality. Mm-hmm. So the accepted reality of the current human condition, but not the human potential, The accepted current reality is the one that we're living in, which is, you are born, you go to school, you get a job, you work every day, just to get that couple of days off at the end of the week, and then you're back on Monday in this cycle of torment. You do that all of your life. The government forces money off you by means of taxation. You work all your life until you've almost extinguished, and then the government has to give you permission to stop working, and then you get pittance as a pension at the end of it. That is most people's accepted reality, because their reality has been hijacked. So what is this reality? This reality is not just one thing. This reality is what we make it. This reality is what we want it to be, because
what we create.
What we create. Now, when people have asked me, what am I? And my answer was, whatever you want to be. Because when you start speaking to the subconscious mind doesn't differentiate between you and me, or it and I. So when you talk to the subconscious mind, you are planting, you're either planting, weeds or seeds. Planting seeds, and you are speaking, opportunities come easy to me because I'm lucky. Money comes easy to me because I am lucky. This then gets into the realms of the law of attraction, which is also thermodynamics in science. So what is reality? Reality is what each and every one of us perceive it to be.
Beautiful. And I agree. I totally agree. And that's why, when I ask, many guests that come on, and I ask this question for door number 4, and everyone has a different expression. And that's how it should be. And me with my orange analogy, cut it in half, you have half, I have half. We're both experiencing the orange, like we're both experiencing reality, but we are experiencing it so different. There are commonalities, and I think that I agree with you that there is a linkage and inference with symbology for all of us. So it's like that's like the core processor that's keeping us all, together. There's something, because it is the symbology that pulls us together. It's not words, it's not actions, it's the resonance, the frequency of the symbology. But I'm not going to digress. I always digress, but I'm not going to. Thank you. That was beautiful. Okay.
It's the reality beyond the reality, and then you get
absolutely
into geometry and different things.
I got to stop saying beautiful. You've just got 4 beautifuls, so you know what I mean. Right, here we go. Hats off. We're now going to go to door number 5. Okay. So we're so deep down the rabbit hole. It's getting curiouser and curiouser, because this is like a loaded question, really. People have said after that was really loaded, that question. And I'm going to ask the question. So on the back of everything we've just expressed, okay, about our experience, who we are, what we're in, we're now going to bring in who is ET. Now, ET is an umbrella label. It could be angels, it could be greys, it could be Palladians, it could be the leprechauns, it could be whatever. It really doesn't matter. Who is ET? Now, many people, the ones that come onto the show, are normally aware of, have no problem with, or non-biased to, even if they haven't experienced a dimensional being. So I asked a question, but I'm aware if I went and asked somebody that was totally not awake at all, in any aspect, still in the position you spoke of in the last door, getting up, going to work, it's just not in their reality, the answer would be like, what are you talking about? But for yourself, who can answer this question in great detail, no pressure, who is ET? Who are these dimensional beings?
Okay. I've been fortunate enough to interact with them and see them. So I do know from a personal perspective that they are around us.
So it's experiential. It's for you, it's experiential. Yeah.
It is. Now, when you start venturing into the ET question, if you look at our planet, you see lots and lots of different appearances, and that's just within one race. So when you look at the universe as a whole, you have many different races that require different chemical elements in their star system.
Yeah.
And you have what is known as a gene pool. Now, the way in which that gene pool interacts also gives you an appearance.
Yeah.
But when you get to the ET question, it is multi-layered. You have the extraterrestrials who come here in their, should we say, cigars, in their discs, in their teardrops. And they are the ones who are obviously technically advanced, but they're not yet spiritually enough advanced to not need teardrops and discs and cigars.
Yeah.
It's almost like we need an helicopter, we need an aeroplane.
Yeah.
So you have that level, which I found in my experience, the UFO community stops at that level.
Yeah, they definitely stop at the nuts and bolts. I have an awareness of like an organic consciousness thing, whatever it is. And also being of my age, I'm aware the evolution of these other beings, because it has changed. Does that make sense? It seems like it's okay for Homo sapien to spiritually evolve in the ufology camp. However, they don't allow these ET or beings to evolve. Does that make sense to you? And that, I can't get my head around that one as yet.
Yeah. The thing is, we have, if you imagine that all of us are experiencing the universe in our own individual ways. Now, when you get souls, part of the zero dimensions that come in, and a lot of high, should we say, experienced souls prefer, or they like to come into spiritually aware parents.
Yeah.
Because the chakra in which the parents operate from largely is the gateway that it will come through. So a higher dimensional being, the soul of a higher dimensional being, will want to come through a higher dimensional parent.
Can I hold you there? Because I've got a question. I've got a question there that's just popped in. This is your truth, and I'm just inquiring now because I've never heard this before. So it's my job to say, stop a sec. Would that count for the likes of me? Now, I'm an experiencer, so I would have wanted to come into a family of experiencers. Is that what you're?
That's where I'm kind of going.
It's a bit like criminal profiling, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
I mean, if you imagine that you are this evolved soul.
Yeah.
When I talk about in other talks about initiations and touching hieroglyphs which connect to the soul, and basically initiation is at a soul level. Yeah. So if you have a higher degree soul, they want to come into a higher degree parentage because that is what they are compatible with. However, you can imagine that the earth in this one sphere reality, and that's it, that sometimes can be very difficult for a higher evolved soul to actually find the parents of that caliber.
Yeah.
So sometimes, if there's a specific urgency or a specific reason that they have to come in, they will come in to any parent, even if they're operating from the lower chakras.
Yeah.
But you see many people who are complete black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
Because they have nothing really in common other than the fact that they were born. So this is a higher evolved being a lot of the time that has come through just to get in. Now, if you imagine that you are an astrotheologist and you were born in India, and there's no opportunity because of the Indian culture for you to flourish as an astrotheologist.
Yeah.
You have to move to America or Canada or England to fulfill your talent.
Yeah.
And it's the same way in these higher talent that they come in and then they move to America or they move to somewhere where
that is, I've never heard, that it's a light bulb's just gone off now. I've never heard this before, so it's new for me, and this is beautiful. I love hearing new information, because you hear that experiences of ET contact, the majority of them, it's hereditary, it runs through the family. It's been going on for generations and generations and generations. But the way that you define that, I'd never even looked at it like that. That is a different perception for me, and I think it's awesome. I'm going to plagiarize that as well. But do go on.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And so you come in basically anywhere if you have to, and then develop. You develop by your own journey.
Okay,
got
yeah.
on well to the master.
Right.
So, of course, there are other beings, there are other souls that go to other star systems.
Yeah.
Now, these are the ETs, and I've said before in our last show together, people are looking to outer space.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is not in outer space, it is in inner space.
Inner
It
space.
is within your perception, your reality. It's an evolved frequency.
Yeah.
So when you begin to evolve your own frequency, that's when you start to see these things.
Yeah.
And these things are able to interact, meet me halfway type thing.
Yeah.
I'll come down to the fourth, you come up to the fourth.
It's normally in the dream state. It's normally in the dream state where the most interaction goes in the dream state. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're sort of in a room together.
Yes.
Really,
yes,
when you do that. So the ET again is a vast subject. You have the ones who are developed technically. You have the ones who are developed spiritually.
Yeah.
The ones that require physical transport. You have the ones that are interdimensional energies that don't.
Yeah.
You have those who go up in different dimensions depending upon the evolution. So what are ETs? They are a different fragment of the one.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're going to say, I knew you were going to say that, but that you knew I didn't want that. So I'm glad that you did the whole narration first, because I found that fascinating. Yes. I'm at the place now where I just say that's me. They're me. It's a different version of me. And that's it really. And let's have fun, basically. I mean, I'm up for that. So, but it is us. We know that. But however, the way that you express that, and this is what's needed, and this is why I do this podcast, because there will be people watching. It could only be one. It doesn't matter. I don't go for numbers. But one person that's just coming into this path and maybe doesn't resonate with me or resonate with that, but may hear someone like yourself and go, oh my God, boom, light bulb. And that's what it's about. That's what this podcast is about. I'm not going to say beautiful. I'm going to say nasty things now because you're too good for me today. Okay, we're going to extend that now. Now, you're not allowed to say, okay, when I ask this question, what I know you want to say, like you just did at the end of it, you're not allowed. It's banned. You'll get a detention if you do. So door number 6 is way down the rabbit hole now. How are we connected? Do not say we are one. This is for the audience wishing to learn or to understand, because we have to go through the mind first to start researching and working with that. Okay, so you're not allowed to say that. So how are we connected? Now, let's do a scenario that I can touch upon because I've experienced it. I can't speak for us. So I'm aware over this lifetime, I don't use the word abductive. I've gone off, I've been on some craft and things were done and, and all that, blah, de blah, and downloads. And so, I'm connected with them, it seems, from my truth at the moment, for an information sharing, for their evolution, for my evolution. So I could possibly, in I consciousness, in this Homo sapien juxtaposition, I could have something to help evolve them. Maybe they don't have, the emotions we do. I don't know. You know what I mean? And they're monitoring how I respond, and I don't have blah, blah, blah. So that's a rough coarse way of me expressing it. From your truth, how are we connected to them apart from saying we're one?
Okay, I'll express it a different way. We are all ripples in the water of truth.
Okay.
And how are we connected? Well, if I walk into a British pub and I'm speaking to my friends, and suddenly in the corner of the room someone says my name, and all of a sudden, bang, my focus is in the corner of the room because I've heard my name mentioned. How, when I'm in a crowded pub that's noisy and I'm speaking to friends, can I hear somebody call my name in the corner? Because your brain is scanning. Now, when you call upon intergalactic beings, other beings, they hear you in the same way, because the ripples of the pool carry
Mm-hmm.
the message.
Yeah.
So if I call for a particular individual entity,
Mm-hmm.
then that entity hears me. It's no different to me picking up my phone and dialing a telephone number. We are all ripples of the sea of truth. And if you imagine that you are the spider in the center of a web,
Mm-hmm.
everything that happens on that web, even the most slightest of vibrations,
Mm-hmm.
the spider reads the language
It does, yeah.
of that resonance.
So it's just basic. Hold on a second. So, hello, and it's basically. Now, hold on a minute. I'm going to stop you there for a second because the group that I'm in, I've shared very similar in the groups. It's basically putting out the contact. I've heard a few say, and I can't answer their question because it's not my experience. Say, well, I've tried and I'm looking and nothing's happening. I'm going to slightly digress here for anyone in the audience that is really trying to do what you've just elaborated on. What would be your suggestion?
My suggestion is stop looking so hard, because when you've lost something in your bedroom and you're really, really searching for it, you can never find it.
No.
When you walk away, next time you walk in the bedroom,
go for something else, then you find it. Yeah, it's always the way.
It is there.
Yeah.
And it's there in a place that you thought you'd looked.
Yeah.
But the problem that we seem to have is we a lot of the time we get in our own way. You know, when I spoke on a previous show about the fornix and the pillars of Hercules, and you know, we can't physically get in the pillar of Hercules. It's impossible. However, there are certain energies of the body that if we move out the way and let them happen, they can get through the pillars of Hercules where no one else may cross. If we step out the way, if we stop looking so hard, you'll see. Yeah, you'll see. And it is as simple as, you know, the ripple. When we have a thought, when we say something, when we think something, it is an electrical wave. That electrical wave is recorded. That thought is recorded. Whatever you say is recorded forever. Now, some people call it the Akashic Records. Science would call it the quantum field. It doesn't matter what, you know, the halls of the Amenti, the frequency of knowledge. It doesn't matter what you call it, but nevertheless, they are waves. Now, the universe is full of waves. Our mind sees it from a small room through two windows. But nevertheless, it is still universal waves. So everything that we say goes somewhere. It is all a ripple in the sea of truth. So when you start talking, when you start speaking in your mind, things happen. You know, how does telepathic communication happen?
Oh God, yeah.
It's wavelengths. You know, how is it that when I've seen things in the sky and I've asked for them in my mind to prove that they've heard me, they do something to prove that they've heard me. When I've called for cosmic energies, they have been there. I have seen them.
So that would be, okay, let's just break that down slightly. So that would be, you've built up this trust. So it's very similar to like mediums, like we're labeled mediums in the group and whatever. So we have a trust. In the beginning, you're not sure, but then you build up a trust and you just relay in the message. So it's an example for anyone that's watching. I want to stay there for a sec. It reminded me what I have managed to do is get them to not focus on anything. It's the only thing that seems to be working. So I have a little trick, that if you put all your attention just on that, now there's no outcome to that. It's not an action with a cause and effect for an outcome, but you're putting all your attention on it. I said, just calm the mind down and just drop your vision. Don't think, don't focus on anything. In fact, just the space, just around me. And when they've started to do that, then boom. In fact, someone did have a grey, I must admit, they encountered a grey. It was in the dream state, but they went to bed doing it. So the way that you've expressed that is don't try too hard. Because as soon as you put your attention, the observer effect on something, that's it. And it's really to take off the identity's observing brain and just become the observer through it. Is that what you're, and from that space speak, maybe?
Well, the brain only sees one probable outcome of multiple outcomes. So the brain sees based on information given to it by the five senses, gets its information from the universal waves. Now the brain creates a familiar world largely from memory. So
all memory near enough.
I mean, when we go into, you know, deep meditation and we relax ourselves and we allow things to come in, you know, as I said before, when Christ light, the fire within you gets to the inn and the inn is full.
We're not going on that show. Don't
not going down there.
We've done that one.
But basically, silence is where, or so we say, silence contains the most noise. Nothingness contains the most something.
Yes.
So when you put yourself in a relaxed place, when you put yourself in a place where things can actually come in, that's when you start to see things. You know, we live such a busy reality life that we never look at the skies, we never think. We
don't. I mean, I've always said that the lockdown for 2.5 years, whatever, how long it's been, I don't know. I said from the get-go, it's a blessing. It's stopping the beings being distracted. It's stopping them, because there was no space. It was from get up, go to work, come home, get up. And it was through, I mean, billions of people started to awake through the first year of lockdown, and they started to see Mother Earth, and they started to see their environment. And then when they were separated from other beings, they had an understanding of how important another being was. They didn't give them the time of fucking day before that. But, and then after, you know, within UK, we weren't locked up for too long, not like the rest of the world. You know, when we come out, I think it was on the first lockdown, I think it's the first one, because the second one was really nothing. I don't know about you, but when, you know, I was going out all through lockdown, you know, going shopping, going out, I didn't stop my life at all. But then when people come out, strangers said, hello. And if you're in the shopping centre, oh, how are you? And people started to talk like it used to be. Did you experience that? I was like,
it gave people the option to be still for long enough to think.
Absolutely.
And like you, I didn't stop in. I didn't lock down. I didn't. Because I also realised that every single date of a lockdown and then release and then a lockdown actually corresponded exactly with the solstices and the equinoxes.
Well, I did notice that.
The reality gone beyond the reality.
I noticed that. Last year, I noticed. I knew what was coming. But the point I'm trying to say about this silence, so we've digressed slightly, but it's a really crucial point to raise about this silence, and in reference to what's going on in this timeline that people are experiencing, is the fact that families were taken away. And yes, it's sad or whatever, but however, we didn't appreciate the family in the first place for generations. We never spoke to a neighbour. You know, back in my day, because I am slightly old, you know, if you were walking down, I'm a Londoner, if it was tea time and you knocked on the door, the neighbour would feed you the tea. You would talk to anyone in the street. If you left the street where you were in, a neighbour would drag you back, or even the local policeman would give you a clip round the ear roll and get home, and to keep you safe. It was a communication of a community. And prior to lockdown, no one would give you the time of day. If you phone someone, I'm coming to see you, I'm just having my dinner. Well, sorry, okay, goodbye. Do you see? But after lockdown, people come back and realized the importance and the value of another being, of a relationship. So this still space that we all experienced for the, you know, and I mean, we didn't have it too bad here compared to others, but it did the job. It did the job, and that I think is why, it's just my truth, I could be wrong, why so many in the UK, I mean, tens of thousands, we had 1 million odd up in London not long ago, and we're going into the millions in the UK waking up waking up now just in the little island of the UK because of lockdown. So I don't see lockdown. It's like that resistance with the, you know, the weightlifter you were telling. I always saw, first of all, I said it was a Monty Python film because it was so ridiculous. And I was waiting for the big foot to go, you know, with Boris, as you know, you do. But it was actually so beneficial for that experience to come through for the awakening of millions of people in the UK now. Millions, yeah.
We can always look at things in different ways. You can say that it was all bad, or you can say that it actually gave people other opportunities to see a different way.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of people now I speak to who now have their own allotments in their gardens,
yeah,
self-sufficient, and
they become creative
as a result of this. So you know, you can look at it in many different ways. You know, we, as I said before, you know, our reality is what we make it.
Yeah.
Our choices are what make our reality.
Yeah.
And we are what we think we are.
Yeah.
And that really, we can take that in every aspect of life.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, I hear you. I mean, we did digress. We did. However, I'm glad we did, because it was needed to be said, because you raised the point of the space. So, okay, we're now going towards door number 7. So it's, you know, it's deep, 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 deep. And anything can come out of here. Knowing you, it will do. So on the back of the previous 6 doors we've gone down, why are they here? However, I always preempt it with a little bit of spill. They've always been here. This is for the audience, Michael. So they've always been here in the Homo sapien sapien timeline. They're on the cave walls, they're in the Bible, they're in the Torah, they're in the symbology in Egypt. You know, I'm not talking about saying why now. They've always been here. However, what I am referring to, as it's become quite apparent, is it seems they're here now, walking among us and everywhere in their masses. However, when I asked a guest a few weeks ago this question, they said, well, it is a possibility we're now all got internet and all that. I get that. I get that part of it, okay? However, it is exponential, the contact. People that, mostly nearly all the mediums that I know, already have a door open to another dimension with spirit world. They're getting contacted. So it really is really evolving, and more and more and more, and sightings of the physical, but more sightings of the spherical, of the orange orbs, you know, like the fire in the sky. That's so many is orange now. So why are they here in this timeline? I know no time exists. We're doing Homo sapien here. Why are they here now? November, we're just ticking out 2021, in the vast numbers they are, and interacting with us, everyone of all levels of awakening or spiritual development.
What is exciting, and what is excited for them as observers and also interactors, is the way in which there's more and more pockets of light appearing. Yeah. And it's exciting for them because they wish to interact and they want to join the party.
Yeah.
And
is it like being this is an analogy, guys, okay? You know, I'm visualizing there's Earth. It could be a globe, it could be flat. I don't give a shit what it is. There's Earth before anyone starts on this anything else. Does it like light bulbs going off and they're going, woo, we're in? Is that what you're using as an analogy?
According to them, the same as with spirits and spirit worlds and different things. When somebody becomes awakened, they know, because
spirit knows. Yeah,
there's an increase in, there's an increase in light. Basically, there's an increase in there's something obvious that this individual is awakened, so they can see. I mean, bear in mind, when they have a panoramic view and they can see things. It's when you look at the universal creation, we have neutrals, we have positives, we have negatives.
Yeah.
So everything that exists within that space is one of those trinities. So you have those who are neutral, who are just observing to see what happens. I mean, again, everything that we do.
Or likely having a good laugh at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, fighting over who is the most peaceful God and things like that. But
yeah, you can imagine it. Or, you know, toilet roll, as you do. Yeah, go on.
You know, so there's the neutral ones, there's the positive ones, there's the ones who have negative ones who want to have a detrimental effect. But nevertheless, because there's a lot of attention and a lot of focus and a lot of effort and a lot of energy has been put into this battleground now.
A lot of light bulbs are going off, masses.
A lot of light bulb going on. So the more and more light bulbs that go off, you know, it is more of a party. There's more lights. There's more Christmas lights. So it's an excitement for them to be involved. It's almost, if you imagine, you know, when you're watching your own child grow up, you want to be there. You want to be there to witness each moment.
Yeah.
You know, the first time your child goes into the sea, the first time he or she goes swimming.
When they touch the grass and they're scared of it, you know, all the exciting moments. Yeah.
So, I mean, really, in this current human condition, we have to reach our potential. Human condition, human potential is the balance. Yeah. So it's excited for them to watch our first time we eat solids, the first time we go into the sea, the first time it's exciting for them to be a part of something that they are helping with. Yeah. Again, we're not going to digress and say that they have always been here, because they have, and maybe it's actually we are the aliens because we're not from here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know I'm them and it's me, and I've come here to experience them, and I've come here to experience the human. I don't have an issue with it, so I'm not bothered, but I love how you explained that. I mean, it does. Coming from my background as a medium, it's like, you know, when the light bulb's turned on, when you open up to, it's like, oh my God, vroom, 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 vroom. And they follow you everywhere. You can sleep, wake up, and they're stood there. Well, in my case, they were. So I'm gonna digress slightly, because here's a question. This is really good that this question's coming up. In mediumship, so what I've done recently over the past, say, 4 months, due to things changing in my reality and setting up podcasts and more than 4 months, it's just nearly a year in January, and setting up the shows, I made a conscious decision to shut myself down from spirit. I shut down, unless it's a rescue, then they get through anyway, but I'm not here to entertain. I still teach mediumship, but I'm not here to do that. So I'm able to do that. I've been to numerous funerals in 2 years now, many. And every time I go to the graveyard, I make sure I'm shut down. Yeah. On that, using that as a reference point, is it conceivable that many beings are ready to put the light bulb on, but because of a fear factor, mine's not fear, I'm busy elsewhere, that they close themselves down from that connection and communication with them? It's just a thought. I don't know, a theory.
It isn't that there's many people that, you know, when you open up the spiritual eye and you begin to see what reality is like, well, not what you've been told it is.
Yeah.
You see an array of things. Now, some of those things are not always what you want to see.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can't just say, well, I want to see the nice stuff and not that, because you see what is there. And of course, when you have a spiritually mature race of beings that are amongst us, you know, that there's different races amongst us, walking amongst us. Yeah. But if you imagine that if you are a responsible race, and the same as if you are a responsible human, you're not going to try and do anything that's going to scare someone or jeopardize someone's awakening. So you are going to take steps to be gentle, to take a sideway approach, you know, not to scare someone. And, you know, because otherwise people will shut themselves down. Now, you don't have to be responsible.
We are powerful beings. We can do that. I know in mediumship, if I say vroom, you know, if I go to when I go to my bed at night, it took me years to manage that though. Every night in my bed, I shut my eyes and until I practiced how to do it. And I did it, and I said, "Sorry, my space." I took the power, my power. I choose. So I was just thinking about that because, you know, there are people that have witnessed UFOs. They've said, oh, I've seen a UFO, but they don't, they're not quite, they don't want to know. It can't be true. And I'm thinking, I wonder if you're shutting yourself down like I do as a medium, so nothing can come in. I wonder.
A lot of the time, people have been shut down, and they've been shut down by the indoctrination of society.
Yeah, true.
Most people will follow one of the major religions. Now, the major religions don't entertain that. No. So, you know, when someone who is part of a church, part of a congregation, and sees something that doesn't comply with scripture or scriptural teachings, they push it away.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, that they deny that it has happened.
Or you're told, I was told as a child, well, diagnosed with schizophrenia and told I was a devil and I'm going to burn in hell and all the rest. Yeah, I know. Actually, it's a very valid point to raise there. Absolutely, that's another point to raise. We have digressed, but I think it's really important. It's a good discussion. It's my show, so I can digress. So there you go, and it's interesting. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to leave that one there for now. And we're going to door number 8. Now, when we reach door number 8, it doesn't mean that the conversation's over with. It means we've done the 8 doors, and the whole point of it was number 8 for me. And things can come after we've done door number 8. So, right, door number 8 is on the back of door number 7. So why are they here? And your beautiful analogy of the light bulbs and watch. I was visualizing that. I thought, oh God, that's wonderful. Door number 8 is, why are they interested in us? However, remember that question. We both touched upon it in why are they here? Okay, briefly. So what I want to do is on the back of that, expand upon it. You've said already that, you know, they've seen our light bulbs go off like moths to a light, and it's exciting. But there's a lot more I think we can expand upon at this time now. And you're fully aware, I think I've told you, I've got this urgency. There's an urgency of something, not in a negative. And many others I've spoken to, interviewed, there's this urgency, like something so clear, it's here. I will say it's here now, but I'm expressing from a Homo sapien. I'm playing my role. So why are they interested in us now in the masses?
Because we are part of a galactic community that has shut the door on the galactic community. And in order for everything to move up the next level together, we need to be on the same hymn sheet. And we need really to be, we are on the wrong timeline. We are in the wrong reality. You know, we've been hijacked, certainly been hijacked in many different ways. And you can see when you look into it deeply enough that the whole of our society, the whole of our reality is invested on keeping us unaware of what's going on.
Okay.
So in order for everyone as a galactic community to raise together, then some of us need a helping hand. You know, it's almost like any classroom in any school of this world. You know, you have the students who are flying ahead. You have the ones who are falling behind. Now, when I was at school, the ones who were bullied, the ones who were falling behind, was the ones who I was befriending. And it didn't matter to me. You know, I was becoming friends with the unpopular kid. That didn't matter to me because it was the unpopular kid that needed the help. And in the same vein, when you get to a certain spiritual level, and what I said earlier, you know, the dirt and the gold is the same. So when you get to a certain level and you wish to help a fellow race who is part of the same ocean of truth as you, you wish to give them a helping hand and raise them to where they should be. That is why they are interested. There's things that we are doing that is affecting them. We have, as I said, human condition, human potential, and they are helping in the transition between the two. They are spiritually mature. They are wanting to tutor and help a race that is suffering at the hands of a regime that is deliberately trying to keep them down. And in the same way as I detested bullies, in the same way that I would stick up for the child who was being bullied, it is the same kind of thing. So they are interested in us because, for one, we are them, they are us. We are part of the same universe. We are part of the same mind. We are part of the same ocean. So why wouldn't they be interested in themselves?
I like it. I love it. And still, I'm going to add something there. Another question's coming out now because this is such a really organic, rich discussion. We've touched, we said, oh, I am them, they are us, and whatever. However, there was a theory that in humanity, how can I word this? I'll just try and say it the best I can. So let's just say we picked Arcturians and reptilians and mantis or something, say 3, just off the cuff. And this dimension, this experience, to experience the Homo sapien experience, limited consciousness, that some from that civilization come in, and some from that come in way back, and some from that come in. So different, So they're saying, okay, say for example, I'm from the Arcturians, or I'm from the Elohim, or I'm from one of them, whatever, And I said, okay, you go in and experience. So they're waiting. They're there with you. Not your own bloodline, so to speak, but you understand what I'm trying to put across. I mean, I've never heard anyone else talk about this. It's just a theory that keeps coming up. How does that resonate with you? Would it be anything, and anything is possible? But there are many Homo sapiens awakened, on the road to awakening of self-realization. They're saying, I'm related. I'm from there. I'm from that planet or that star system. And then they talk about the types of dimensional beings that have been with them through their life. So I'm an Arcturian or a Grey, or I'm the Elohim, one or the other, because they're the ones that have been with me. Does that make sense to you? How does that resonate with you?
It does. When you look at human DNA, and you see that human DNA is a language, it is a program. And that program was not programmed here. It was programmed in the stars, and it came here. When you look at the human body and you see that the oxygen and the carbon that helped to create this human body came from an exploding star in the Orion Nebula. So when that star thought it was dying, it now relives in me and you. So we are youngsters, we are young stars when we are born. If you look at the fact that our DNA is not from here, and it is cosmic programming, and so are they. We share that. They see us as genetic royalty.
I've heard genetic royalty before. I've heard that, and they see us as in high esteem. They call us masters, which I find really, what? And I'm hearing it again and again. You are the masters. They do have that. Yes, I've heard that. Yeah.
The thing is, when we are experiencing an element that they have not experienced or are not experiencing. Now, if you say to a light being, do you want to come for something to eat? It's like, well, I've never experienced what it is to eat. They don't have the sensory perception to know what that is. So to a certain extent, even though it's tough, it's extremely tough, it's very harsh, it's a cycle of torment. In this dense dimension, we are able to experience things that nowhere else can you experience.
True.
Now, why wouldn't you be interested in the outcome, of plan? Why wouldn't you want to also experience these things through someone else? Because that is what the creative mind is doing. Experiencing these things through different things, through different realities. So they are interested in us because we are interesting.
Well, it's just, you can just go on. This conversation could expand anywhere, but it's like through such a conversation, new thoughts come, new introspection comes, and you can, oh, I never thought that, and it just comes in your, it comes in my head, and I go, oh, you know, as I do a lot. But you know, we're able to speak about these things and expand upon these things, and then when you share it with another being, and it comes back and it resonates, it just gives it like that sense of, I think a few more light bulbs are going off. And in that sense, I mean, obviously I'm coming from the truth of self, my truth, my knowing, my experiences, self-realization. However, I'm here to play this game of this interaction, to know thyself, to experience myself in all different multiple ways. I think that's really cool, you know. I'm going to get the Elohim to adopt me. I'm sure I belong to them. You know, but it makes this experience joyous. Does that make sense? Instead of being the limited slave, it's a joyous, exciting, curious, mysterious. Wow, what the fuck? I'm one of them. You know?
So the only limit really is the limit you put on yourself, when, because again, through programming, we'll tell we're not worth, we're not good enough, we're never going to amount to much. But those are the only limits that we put on ourselves. Now, when you realise that you are everything, but you're just in a different shell, you know, there is no distinction, but it is the way in which we see ourselves, it's the way in which we program ourselves, it's the way in which we've been allowed to be programmed. You know, I mean, the things that we tolerate are just mesmerizing. Really, it's why do we tolerate these things? I mean, take it back to Victorian times, when you know, when you're going through the streets of the UK, you see old Victorian England houses, and you'll see that the windows have been bricked up. So why have the windows been bricked up? Because they used to get taxed for the amount of sunlight used to come into their house, and that's where you get the phrase daylight robbery. Now, but my question to that is, why do you tolerate that?
Why would, I mean, but many are realizing now it's the illogical laws. We're going to touch upon this. They used to build brick up the windows, or you'd be taxed to get free sunlight in your house. So to make money out of you, or brick your window up. And you hear that. And obviously, I'm not going to go in deep details, you know, but I've got to repeat it again. There was, at the very beginning of lockdown in England, do you remember Monty Python said, you cannot go round, if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, you cannot go round their house and have sex with them, because you're more likely going to kill them, with whatever. However, it's illegal. You'll be fined if you go in the house. However, needs must be met. You can go outside. And I'm going, there's a law in this country of gross indecency. If my children are walking down the street and there's an adult pair having sex in the car park because the Monty Python man's, and I'm going, that is the most illogical thing ever. But you're right. We've always had these illogical things around us, but at one point we thought they were logical. They were correct. So what I do now, when people come up and say, oh, this is the law, and they say that, I said, you know what? I said, all I'm going to say is, what is the sex of a tuna sandwich? And they go, you what? That's illogical. I said, exactly what you just said about that law. Go and look at it differently. But you're quite right. And we deconstruct that. That's what we do. We start to see things. What is hidden will be revealed. We see things, and it's a joke. It's basically a fucking joke. That's what it is.
There was never law. So, you know, but yeah, it's like, again, looking at it from a different viewpoint, different perspective. Why do you tolerate that? Why? Beings, why do you let your presidents and your prime ministers
do that?
Why do you allow them to do that? Because that really, when we begin to answer that question, then we can start to move forwards.
Well, I think we're seeing globally now, even in Australia, oh my God, that's really got a lot of resistance there. They are rising, and no fear of death, no fear of, they're up. They've had, I think that this is what's, you can see it's flipped already. You can push someone like a bully. You can push and you can push and you can push, and you're so, this energy could be so arrogant in it, but it's for a reason, we know. However, that this so-called victim you got is gonna, like a dog, you kick a dog enough times, what's the dog gonna do? It's gonna bite. And now we're seeing the bite. Now we're seeing humanity rise at all different, and there are millions and billions of light bulbs going off. And and then at the same time, every time I go on my phone to go to my email, Google has a message: end of the world is coming, solar flare, smallpox, chickenpox, swine flu in the UK, cow flu in the, we've got every virus in the fucking UK. And guess what? Last year, no one died of flu. No one died, and there's no death records. However, watch what's coming this year, because something's not taken its place this year. So this is how I now look at things, like the windows, or you can't have sex in the house, but you can outside, or it's.
I mean, when you said that the world is rising and people have been kicked off and they're now rising and we're going to try and change this thing, isn't that interesting? If I was up there, I'd want to come and watch that.
Oh hell yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. Oh hell yeah. It's the kids.
You are watching the beginnings of the change of a complete race.
I agree. Homo sapiens sapien is no more. Well, for me, it's no more now. And I agree. They must be saying the kids have grown up. The kids have grown up. Yeah. They're getting wise. They realize they've been had, and it's a game. But it's so freeing when you can look back. I think you have to have some maturity to do it, some years on the back of you, because you need to have been in the illusion for some time. And I never saw the Monty Python jokes anywhere. I believed, when I was playing my role, I had to. I was a brilliant actress in my role. But now, and I read, like, someone made this new law, or they've just put, and I go, what the fuck does that mean? It's so illogical. But prior to that, we didn't realize. So they must be thinking, thank God for that. Do you know? Thank God.
Yeah.
I've been hanging around long enough waiting for them. You're coming, I'm coming home, wherever we are. I'm coming, whoever I belong to.
Really?
It's a case of, before we close, this new experience, this was, for me, my truth was the experience of the Homo sapiens sapien and the limited consciousness. And it was a process of self-realization, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of things are being discussed now, because millions and billions are aware. Some are calling it the shift. I explain it like I'm on a different timeline already. That timeline's, there's a linear line, there's a gap between me and that timeline. I go into it now and again when I have to, like going in another dimension, literally, and get out. Yeah, I have no connection with it at all. But many are talking about, okay, what's next? And I'm not saying it from a Homo sapien thing, because that's gone. I'm saying it from consciousness experience. Is it what we call the galactic experience or something? Like, how do you, we're creating it, so let's start. What's next, Michael?
What you described for me is when you're on this side of the motorway and the other reality is that side, and it's going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of my time looking at things and thinking, what on earth? Because I'm moving further and further and further away from it. Yeah. And it's really it has no relevance to me. And when you talk about the shift and when you talk about the ascension, that for me is the now quite clear divide between Team A and Team B.
Absolutely. It's
so massive. What is next? Well, the people who've got to a certain level are already having the galactic experiences, and they're having the galactic experiences while they're still separated from this.
Whilst in the timeline,
When you have when you pass from this body, you have a density degree which is really a compatible vibration. So if you have an opportunity while you're on earth to become spiritually mature, you have that resistance we spoke about at the beginning of the show. If you choose to take it, your vibrations will no longer be compatible with this sphere of reality. Sphere of reality. So you will go and experience somewhere else at a higher plane. That is what comes next. For those who don't take that opportunity to graduate, they get backclassed, and the backclassed is you coming back until you get. And so if you graduate by certain things that you do, by certain realizations,
I've studied hard, sir. I've studied hard.
And you know, in order to graduate, you have to study hard. You know, you have to, I mean, for me, the amount of hours and days and weeks.
Oh Lord, it's like
things. You know, you have to do that. But when you do that and you start to see reality how it is, rather than what you were told it is, then your next experience is one that is of a higher experience than this. So that's what comes next, unless you fail to graduate, then you're coming back.
I mean, for me, the whole, just in a nutshell, for me, the whole experience is self-realization. That's it. That's the only way I can explain it. And I've said it before, as you know, the last few years have gone past, I always felt I was in one reality then another. I call them timelines, and it was blurry for one foot in one. But now, for some time, I know I'm in a different dimension. I know I'm in, and I'm going into that other dimension that I was in before, just like dimensional beings or ETs coming into my dimension. I'm doing what ET, and that is fucking mind-blowing. You go, I've never looked at it like that before. But that is an experience. If you have an experiential knowing that you've come out of, we'll call it a timeline or a dimension, doesn't matter, and you realize that you're out of it, and every so often you pop into it you may need to for certain things, obviously, then they're doing the same.
Yeah. How many people have said, including me, that I heard someone call my name or I've heard voices?
Yeah.
If you imagine, I'll do this example, a two-dimensional flatland. Now, for me personally, we're not going to go there, but the Earth is a sphere, it's not flat. However, if you say that it is and it's a flat land, everything on the two-dimensional world has to be two-dimensional. Because that is what it is. Now, if I visit the flatlands, the two-dimensional people who live on flatland are only aware of front, back, left, and right. So they're two-dimensional. Now, if I approach them as a three-dimensional being and I go into their flatland, I'm coming at them from a dimension and an angle that they don't understand. Because they never look up. They live in flatland. So if I enter from the third dimension into the second, from a dimension they don't understand, they can only hear me, they can't see me. Now, when you get high dimensional beings coming to this three-dimensional land from another dimension that we don't understand, we can hear them, we can't see them. So when people have recorded, and I've seen them, and you see this UFO show, when you see one light pop and then another light, and they say, look at that, there were 7 UFOs. Well, it's more likely to be one that is appearing in our reality at different times. I hear you. A little bit. So that is why people are hearing.
Oh, you froze. You've frozen. Have I frozen or just Michael's frozen? Oh, energies are interfering. Hopefully he'll come back. Oh dear, what an exciting conversation. We're going to hang on a little bit longer and hopefully Michael will get back in. Hopefully. Well, I'm going to say I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. We were going to go deeper and deeper even after the 8 doors. And Michael is just amazing. The amount of knowledge and insight he has is just unbelievable. I got a strange feeling I've lost him. Yes, I have lost him, bless him. He may just try and pop back in. Let's wait and see. I do hope you've enjoyed the show. and the topic we've discussed. Please like and share Inception Podcast, so the guests and their knowledge that they're sharing with me could be shared with many. Oh, he's back. He's back, yes. I thought you'd get back. I just did my last bit just in case you didn't.
Yeah.
Right, no. Continue where you were. Do you remember where you were?
Yeah, I was talking about, did I get to the flatlands before we froze?
We've done the flatlands, you've gone in, you're the 3D, you can only hear, and then you step to the next stage. If we hear them, this is what's happening. Do go on.
Yeah, so basically, if we hear voices, if we hear things, but we can't see them, it's because they're speaking to us from dimensions outside of our scope. So they are all around. They are in a space. They have never been away. They are always here. It's a dimensional thing. That there are energies that are traveling through portals, through galactic gateways.
Yeah.
Monoliths and monuments of the world are gateways. They are portals, and it's a wonderful community that we're involved in. And when you acknowledge that you're part of the community, when you open up to that community and say, I want to be a part of you, then you are welcomed into that community.
Are you finding this timeline we're on, or this dimension we're in, whatever it's called, it's like I'm seeing people jumping ship. Does that make sense to you? Go, I'm in. I'm going, oh my God. At the beginning, you felt like you're Billy No Mates. Oh, I'm on my own and there's no one. You know, we're all Billy No Mates, yeah? But now it's like everyone's jumping in, leaving the sinking ship. It's just, I'm going, oh my God. And like I said in the beginning, looking at you, you wouldn't have thought that, you know, you and your man hair and all that could contain such profound and inspirational words. Don't judge anyone, guys, that you see, even if they're an arsehole, because I've known a few arseholes recently. Just blow my mind, and light bulb's gone on from nowhere. Don't judge. Don't think you're better or more awake, because no one's more awake than anybody. So please, I've got to get that out there. But they're jumping in this timeline like, oh my God. It's unbelievable. And have you noticed recently, not only people, laws are being turned on their head. You know, these, we're going to vote for this. No, you're not. It doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. They're like that, threatening, we're going to do, and it doesn't happen because of the gap that's come. I mean, it's like Star Trek for me. I don't watch Star Trek, by the way. I did like Spock there with his big ears. However, it's like a galaxy away from me. It's been there, did it, done it, got the trauma. Thank you very much. And the dark night of the soul for decades, and it's gone. And the only thing that I think I've got, and I'm going to close it on this because this is such a topic. I love this topic. I love the 8 doors. And I didn't create it. It was beings that created it. It wasn't me. I'm so excited to be in a community of multi-dimensional beings with the perception. Total perception, like I'm in my dream state. I mean, I have seen them a few times when I'm consciously awake, but it's a totally different experience. Like, oh, you know, that's if I could have a wish and you could grant my wish, that's my next stage. I'm looking for that. Could you imagine the joy of that?
Well, again, for me, if someone had to turn around before I came into this and said to you, that you're going to interact with beings that you've never met, they're not from here, they're not human, they're going to give you lots and lots of information that the greatest minds on earth have not been able to answer, but you're going to know.
Yeah.
They're going to give you lots and lots of different experiences so that you can see what reality is really like and where they come from and how they get here. Yeah. You are going to have quantum equations put into your head. You are going to be allowed to see
Yeah.
advanced technology in
Yeah.
your house, then you would say, yes, please. Now, it's very humbling. It's a privilege to have been able to interact and still interact and have all this information that is absolutely wonderful information that, as I say, there's not many people in the world know some of the information that they are telling me, they are passing to me. So that, of course, is an absolute honor and a privilege. And, it is a wonderful, wonderful experience to be able to interact with.
It just changes. But it changes everything about the being as well. Yeah, you still get your pains and your aches and and all the normal, because we're still here. But it changes every concept of the being itself. Everything the being does. I mean, sometimes I'll think something and go, what a load of bollocks. Where did that come from? At one point I wouldn't, I must do. And sometimes the odd thought comes through, and it's like a bit like Monty Python crap. It's a joke. And I laugh at myself. I can laugh. I said, where'd you get that one from? That's, So for me, it's the whole, just to experience the being, the physical aspect of consciousness, to experience that move, flow, interact and behave. And when it's doing it as the observer, that's really mind-blowing. You don't need to go lick a mushroom, trust me, or take ayahuasca, because if you become the observer through the being, that is like, you couldn't get any higher than that, could you, Michael? It's like, oi, I'm it,
Well, I've experienced the it looking through my eyes, and I was aware that it was something else looking through my eyes. Now, that again, it's just truly remarkable that
can't explain it.
You don't have to have spaceships to travel the universe, because you can do it. You don't need to be a light being to have enlightenment. You don't need you can do everything you want. Is within you.
I agree. I sometimes, and it was said to me a good few years ago, just stop your spiritual journey, stop searching, stop, be silent, be still. In fact, they said, shut the fuck up. All right, Gloria? To stop looking. And I stopped. And then I found me.
Well, which is what I said earlier. When you stop looking, that's when you find. But when you stop, you begin to hear the sacred sounds within. You begin to hear things.
Oh yeah, we've done that on the other show. We mustn't digress. The wind, everything. It's just and you can see how the spiritual journey is going, because the conversations like we're having. So this being and that being and all the other beings that come on the podcast and all the beings that watch the podcast. It is a collective of one. On this timeline, I said it in the group the other night. They go, oh, and I said, look, love, I'm leaving no one behind on this timeline, because you're me. I can't leave, what I mean? No one's getting left. There is no such thing as a concept, anyone getting left behind. It's one. If one, and I always say, if the one, the it is at the point of self-realization, oh God, I'm going to cry in a minute, which means the whole of eternity, the whole of the universe, the whole of is all one at one time. One little bit can't wake up like Gloria and go, oh, I'm awake and aware. And it goes, and no one's left behind. It's already done in my eyes. It's already done. We've shifted the timeline. It's done. When did it happen? There's no time. It doesn't matter when it happened. It's happened. We've done it. We're out of it. We did it. And now we just got to wait for, for the party. I'm waiting for the party. I am, in my reality, I keep looking in the skies, in my 3D world, from Homo sapien perspective, and I'm waiting for the party. I'm waiting for the lights to come on.
My overwhelming feeling in this specific now, in ancient times, the now was eternity. Now, in this specific time now, I'm talking to you in retrospect.
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm sitting here talking to you on a different timeline.
Yes.
It says we are speaking of a victory.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yet the other timeline is still being fought, but
Yes.
it has happened.
Yeah.
It has been won. That you can't understand anything unless you understand yourself.
Yes, exactly.
But it has been won, and we are speaking now in a different place where we are looking back at a victory. It's like watching the replay of a boxing match.
It is. It is. It's and that's how we function. We live an experience normally on memory. It's a memory. Everything's in a loop. It's a memory. That's how we experience the experience when you're not awake. Everything's from memory. Everything's done from memory. But now it's not memory. Now, we're watching a video. Oh, fuck, look at us. What did we do there? Oh, wow. And when I say it's more like Monty Python's film, actually. It's a joke. So for me, use the word victory. I'm waiting for the party. I'm waiting for the fireworks. And I personally think I deserve it. It's
almost like how I feel at the moment is when, again, I'll just use the analogy of boxing because I've already used it. You have a title fight.
Yeah.
One person wins. Now, at the end of the fight, you have the reporter stick the microphone in his face, speak about the fight. That's what we're doing now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's already happened.
It's already happened. It's already done. And, and I do say that, that's a great analogy. And I keep saying it's over. I use my 7 pieces, the chess players, the 7 moves left. I use that analogy for it, but it's done. And we're sitting there going, Michael, wasn't that a bloody ride? Oh my God.
It feels like I'm sitting in a bar in the stars saying, that was great. Thanks, we'll do it again. We'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, well, I ain't doing it again. No. I'm not doing it again. I knew I'd come in this time just for this time. I've always known that. I've only ever come in for this time. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I want the party now. But because it's not, I'm not saying that in a physical, materialistic way. There is an energy in this dimension of this timeline, of love and joy and excitement. I can't explain it. And there's a connection. And that's what I say I want the party. It's an energetic thing I'm talking about, an experiential. Yeah, I want to see the macabres in the sky and the different types of conscious ships, managed by themselves and all. I want to see avatars and all the beautiful, yes, of course. But however, I'm talking about the energy that is in this timeline that is of, we call it unconditional love, even though it's unmentionable, we can't. That's what I'm talking about. That's the party. It's called, for me, home. And going, I'm home. I've just got to get the physical body to come along with it. I'm waiting for the physical body to catch up. I'm waiting for this, for the spiritualization of the physical body as well, because it's all conscious atoms and they've got to catch up.
Well, the physical is the slowest carriage, the slowest.
Say that again, sorry.
So the physical is the slowest carriage of the train.
Yes, it is.
So we have to, the engine gets there, so we have to wait for it. Yeah. As I've said, love is silence. Yeah. So listen.
Yeah. I love it. And yes, I agree with Michael. Love is silence. So please listen. And thank you for watching the podcast. We did lose Michael, but he came back. I said he would. And until the next time I have a conversation and go down the rabbit hole with the 8 doors. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye for now.